welcome to the R Silent Podcast. We have an exciting episode to bring to all of you. Before we get started, I just want you all to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I have a dream of becoming the #1 podcast host in Toronto, so please help me out by subscribing to our YouTube channel. So please take the time and subscribe now before we get started. All right, so Mucho, thank you so much for being here to join us for our show. We're going to start off with some introductions, and then we're going to get into the question boxes. I've created some custom questions for you. I know they're going to be really exciting and fun questions for us to discuss today. So I want you to start off by telling us your name, your age, your background, your ethnic background, so where you're from, what you do for a living.
All right, so my name is Mucho, aka Mucho TV. That's my real name, actually. I get that a lot, but that's like my real government name.
Your real government name is Mucho. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's spelled M-U-C-O. That's my real name. And I'm 28. What do I do? I'm a comedian or a content guy. I do that, but really, like, the main income. Everybody got a 9 to 5, right? I work in like front end tech stuff for a big company that I won't name.
Fair enough.
My background, my ethnicity, I'm Burundian. It's a country in Central East Africa.
Okay. Not a lot of people from Toronto are from that country.
No, barely. They're all in like Ottawa or Montreal because it's a French-speaking country.
Is it a Christian country or a Muslim country?
It's Catholic, the vast majority, but recently it's become more Muslim because of our ties with Tanzania.
So Mucho, we've created some custom questions for you in this box.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to get you to do me a favor, and you're going to pick out your first question, and then you're going to go ahead and answer them. It's no particular order, so these are randomized questions.
All right.
So
go
ahead and
top
start it.
What is your niche? Is one necessary? My niche, if we're talking about content, then yeah, it's probably a lot of like local comedy. I can't lie. Like I always find that like that's a very easy way to like blow up a piece of content is to like shout out a community that doesn't get shouted out like that much, and then people embrace it. So that's probably my niche.
And when you say local content, you're talking about different parts within Toronto where you'll make like skits for?
Yeah, so I mean in a larger sense, like you could just say it's like the GTA, but sometimes I get super specific, and I've made songs about cities that have like 50,000 people, but like that whole city's gonna share it.
I actually have watched your content for quite a long time, so I get a lot of people who ask me when I talk about you, and they're like, oh, Mucho like talks about all the different cities in Toronto, like Mississauga. How does he even know about Hamilton and St. Catharines? I think you recently did a St. Catharines one.
I did. That's the last one I did, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, those take a lot of work, but they always blow up, so it's worth it.
Go ahead with the next question.
For sure. All right. Tell us about your journey on becoming a content creator. Okay, that's a pretty good one. I graduated from University of Guelph in 2016, and then I started working right away. Like I didn't even take a break. I just I graduated in finance, and then I started working for an insurance company. And then I looked to my left and my right, and it'd just be like niggas that just like worked there for like 30 years. You feel me? Like you're looking up their old task on their computer, and it's like the date's like 2002.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, I gotta, my job can't be my identity. So I was like just really looking for like a hobby or maybe something to like even get money from. And I was always like the class clown type of dude. I started looking into stand-up comedy, and this was the time that I used to live in Kitchener, just because rent was cheap out there. There was better jobs in Kitchener, Waterloo. I was living there, and so they had like a decent like stand-up comedy scene. And then you could just DM some of them on Facebook and be like, "Yo, can I go up?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." And then I'd lie, and be like, "Yeah, I have so much expertise. Like, yo, I'm a seasoned vet. Let me get 5-10 minutes." And I started building up my name a little bit out there, and then I'd be doing stand-up like once, twice, 3 times a week in like the Tri-City area over there. Like that's what they call it. So like Guelph, Cambridge, and Kitchener, Waterloo. But then what I found out is like the stand-up scene is like you really need to have a name for yourself, and it takes them like years, yo. It takes them like 4 or 5 years just to even get a name. And at that point, IG videos were starting to pop. They went from 15 seconds to 60. You know what I mean? So I could never really get into the Vine shit back in the day because I don't know, my brain doesn't work like that. I can't think of a funny video in 6 seconds.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So as soon as IG put it to 60, I'm like, yo, maybe I could do something with this. And so I just started making videos, and they did okay, really. But once I started making videos about like the GTA, that's when they started to blow up. And at the same time, Six Buzz was becoming a thing. They probably had like 20,000 followers or something. So, and they used to post me all the time, and like we were growing together at one point, and people would stop me in the street and be like, "Yo, are you Six Buzz?" Because I would be there so much. And I gave up stand-up because the internet comedy shit was bumping way more, and then I was just consistent at it, and then shit blew up left and right, and I don't know, here I am.
What was it like working as a comedian and doing stand-up? Because stand-up is not very easy for a lot of people. You have to have a lot of confidence that what you're saying is actually funny.
Yeah, I do, but stand-up is definitely like, out of everything, stand-up is the hardest form of entertainment. There's nothing harder than that. You gotta go up on a stage and it could be like 20, 30, 50, 100 people just staring at you like they're starting from their baseline is 0, just staring at you like, make me laugh, nigga. Like they're just looking at you and you're like, you'll try your best. But the thing about comedy is that humor is the unexpected. Like you say something and then, wow, they don't expect it. So when somebody's sitting there and expecting to laugh, it's very difficult.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I got pretty good at it, to be honest, but it's one of those things that don't really match like skill to popularity that well. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of just like networking for years and years and putting in the grind, and I don't know, man. I just couldn't do it, but I still enjoy people's stand-ups and stuff. The internet comedy thing just worked better for me.
Ready for the next question?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
Let me just shuffle these around a bit so I just don't pick the top ones, you feel me? All right. Lifestyle, pandemic versus now. Ain't nothing changed. I was still partying in that shit.
Really?
I can't lie. I didn't post it. I was still outside, you know what I mean? The difference is the nightclub was my house. That's the only difference.
Okay.
That's why I'm promoting so many events now, because like once outside became legal, everybody's like, where the party at? And I'm like, okay, I can actually make money off this now.
Okay.
You feel me? So yeah, I had a great time. And I'm having a great time now. Would you consider yourself a rapper or a comedian? Nah, that's a great question. I'd consider myself a comedian. I think I'm a pretty good rapper, but the thing about being a rapper is you need like a certain image. And I was never down to like, I was never down to work on that. Never down to work on like my swag that hard or be like a street dude or maybe be like a super deep dude. You got to pick one of these like, and that was just never me. I'm just me. And then like I'm decent musically, you know what I mean? And then
I'll say that you're more than decent, brother, because you make some killer rhymes. So I was like, yo, where's their EP? Like, are you creating your own individual projects? I imagine if you did one with just like talking about Toronto and your raps, like that could blow up in Toronto. What do you thought?
It could, you know, and I'll always drop like tracks here and there, but like my ambition is not to be like a rapping ass dude. If it happens because people fuck with the music and then they ask for more, then cool. I understand like what comes with being a rapper.
What specifically?
Well, I'll say this, right? There's a lot of people and I'm just speaking of Toronto because that's what I know. And I know some of these people personally. You're not really about that life. And then you have to portray that to be a rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the guns, the drugs.
Yeah, you know, because that's what sells. Or, you know, you got to talk about, yo, I just fucked 3 bitches last week. No, you didn't. Like, you got to say some rapper shit all the time. Yep. You feel me? And I just rather speak the truth. So my whole thing about rapping is like, I like picking like funny topics because that lets me be inspired and like go on a rhyme scheme or whatever and really get in my bag. But like real talk, like I don't have that much to rap about. About like what am I gonna like? I'm a 9-to-5 nigga who goes out, like comes home, and everything is good. Like you feel me? Like, you know, so the whole rapper lifestyle, I could see myself being it, but it would have to be something far left than people are used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I think a lot of people could benefit from a change in the rap game because a lot of people, especially for me, I have a hard time listening to rap songs because I don't relate to the guns, the drugs, the multiple women on the photo shoots or video shoots.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, unless I'm doing Christian rap or listening to Christian rap, it's a little bit difficult to find music that works. So I find that I spend a lot more time listening to audiobooks and podcasts now.
Word.
Because every time you listen to a rapper, they're going to hit you with the F-bombs. They're going to tell you.
Oh, for sure. Can I swear on here? I was just swearing so much today. Is that allowed? My fault. I should have.
It's all good. It's all good.
My fault, everybody.
Okay.
So are you like super Christian?
I wouldn't say that I'm super Christian. I have been recently developing my relationship with God. And I tried not to be influenced by things that are negative in life, you know. And I feel as though when you are spending more time listening to things that actually provide you with value and growth in your life, you make it a lot further. For example, like I know you go to the gym, you know, you're very actively in fitness. When I go to the gym, you know, some guys would prefer to listen to a rapper.
Yeah.
Me, I would prefer to listen to a podcast because I can learn.
That's crazy. I'm
I can
sorry.
train my mind and train my body at the same time, you know? So it's double the work you're doing. So when you leave the gym, you feel very accomplished. And I worked on my body and then I worked on my mind.
You hitting a bench press to Joe Rogan? That's what you're doing? What do you...
Sometimes if you like that,
Really?
Joe Rogan, Valuetainment,
Word.
Patrick Bet David, and,
Yeah?
the Fresh and Fit podcast. I don't know if you know the Fresh and Fit podcast, but that's one of my favorite podcasts.
Okay.
I know they're very controversial, right? But those guys are my guys, you know, because they have a message that doesn't resonate with a lot of men, but you know, someone like me, I can handle somebody being that direct with me and telling me, no, this is the way that you got to do things in life. You know, they give you a bit of a kick in the butt. But I spend a lot of time, you know, listening to podcasts and in audiobooks as well. Because, like I said, I like to train my mind while I'm training my body and develop further. Because, you know, if I'm listening to Drake while I'm working out, I'm not gaining any value from that, you know. But if I learn how to improve a skill while working on my body, I can get a lot further in life, you know. And I think a lot more people need to spend more time asking themselves, what am I consuming that's benefiting my life? You know, I want to tell you a quick story because I don't think you knew this about me. So I've been following you on Instagram since 2018. I've been consuming your content. I think I've watched almost every single one of your videos.
That's fire.
You know, and that's why I was so excited to meet you today and to do this podcast with you, because there was a time in my life where I was going through a lot.
Yeah.
I just got out of a relationship. I found your content, and your content really helped me to just see the funny in things, you know, and just laugh and just de-stress. So I would go through all your videos on a hard day, especially you have one where it's like when it was a story you were telling about your boys asking you to show your girl.
Yeah.
And yeah. I just die every time I watch that video because I remember being in that situation when a man's asking me to show me your girl, and I'll be dying of laughter because like, oh my god, like what are the man gonna think about my girl when I show him that, you know? So you know what I mean? So that video alone, I haven't saved. So anytime I'm having a hard day, like I pull open that video, and I think it's like 2019 that you made that video, and I'll just be there just dying of laughter, and every single time I watch it, it's still as funny to me as it was the first time I watched it. So thank you for that. Thank you for your content, you know, and I appreciate that somebody out there can make jokes like that. And it resonates with people from Toronto. Because if you're from Toronto and you know what it's like when you're talking to the mandem and they say things like that, you start dying, you know.
Yeah, our friends have no filter, man.
Don't kill me. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your content and yeah, very excited for this show.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. All right, you ready for another question? Go for it. Get some water in the meantime.
What goes into the prep of your content? So a lot of them are shower thoughts.
Really?
That's where I get most of my ideas, in the shower, yo. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, I don't know, your brain just goes somewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe because you're idle and I don't know. So like that's like the beginning. You feel me? And then there's the execution. The execution's what takes the longest time.
Okay.
You know? For a video like the one that you just talked about, where I'm just on the road or whatever, and then I film myself, and then after I add a voiceover, that's pretty easy. I could get that done in a night.
Oh.
You know, from beginning to end. Or like the welcome to videos, especially if I never lived in any of those cities, that could take me like a month.
Okay. So you do the research prior and
and I go.
A lot of people wonder like, oh, does this guy just live there and lives everywhere in Toronto? Like, how do you know?
So the first few I did, I either lived there or I had tons of friends from there.
Oh, okay.
I'll go even a little back. So the first ones I did was welcome to Saga, welcome to Brampton, and then welcome to Scarborough. Saga and Brampton, I went to school on the border of Saga and Brampton, a school called Same for Me, French school. They bus you from okay. They bus people from everywhere.
Okay.
So because there's not that many French schools in Ontario, they bus you from everywhere. So like Peel and Halton only had one French school. So Oakville, Georgetown, Saga, Brampton, Burlington, they all came to that school. So I had friends from everywhere. So I'd sleepovers, I'd be at this place, at that place. I knew about all those cities. So those are easy. I just did those in my sleep.
Okay.
But something like I freestyled Welcome to Saga. I just
well, because you're from Saga, right?
And even Brampton, I freestyled that.
Okay.
And then my boy Tresor was on it. He did the other half. And Scarborough, I knew a little bit. Marlon's from there. Marlon, that dude McFly.
Oh yeah.
He's from there, or he lived there, so he did the rest. But like, so for example, now I'm starting running out of cities now. Well, welcome to St. Catharines. Like the last one I did, took me like a month, yo.
Really?
Yeah, because like not every day I'm working on it. Like I get stumped, and then I'd be like, damn, what else can I think about? And like really writing it bar for bar, and the rhymes have to be tight. They have to be like I like to make the rhymes like multi-syllable rhymes. So and then I like to make it catchy now too. Yeah, that could take a month. Yeah, what goes into prep, man? It could take from a night to a month.
Wow. And how do you like make it catchy? Is it just because of your own individual talent, or do you find some ways to kind of, once you're doing the research, you know, you figure, okay, this is St. Catharines. How do I make it match with something that's relatable to people in Toronto that they're going to actually feel like this?
To make it catch, it doesn't matter about the lyrics. It's about like the melody and the flow and maybe the hook or something. The lyrics don't matter. You know what I mean? But the lyrics is what's gonna like people gonna share it and be like, oh shit, well, he said that about what? So that's something different. But to make it catchy, to make it musically good, the lyrics don't matter at all. That's rap in 2023.
Yeah. No, some people make it famous off of not even saying lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Love the song.
And I be listening to it.
Yeah.
Top 3 favorite cities. Okay, that's fire. That's a good question. Okay. Toronto is 100% in it because I don't have to live here, but I do. Yeah, I love Toronto. I know some people hate on it, but a lot of people that hate on Toronto don't even live in Toronto. They live in like fucking like Ajax or something, and they're like, I can't wait to move out of Toronto. What are you talking? You don't even. Toronto's amazing. And I'm only gonna name cities I've actually been to and that I actually have friends in.
Are you gonna include Mississauga?
No, Mississauga's terrible. Mississauga's so I've been on this rant before and people got mad at me, but Saga is like it's just a failure of a city. You have 1 million people in there almost, pushing 800,000, and there's nothing to do. Everything closes after 10.
That's like most places in Toronto, except for downtown, right? Like if it's not downtown, everywhere is pretty. You guys can get after 12.
When I said Toronto, I can't lie. I'm talking about South of Bloor. I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. South of Bloor, you know what I mean? Like, you know, west of the DVP, like, yeah, like that, like that's part of. But still, you know, shout out to here too.
Don't kill me.
Okay, Toronto, New York. Again, I'm only naming cities that have been Kigali.
Kigali. Where is that?
In Rwanda.
Rwanda?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to tell us where you've traveled. Because you've been to some interesting countries. So I want to know a little bit more. Where have you traveled?
Where have I traveled to? So, truth be told, I haven't been to that many places. Like, apart from North America, I've only been to Thailand. That was, like, right before pandemic hit. So, February 2020. Just recently, I was in... And I guess I've been to Mexico, Cancun to party and shit. But Mexico is North America, my bad. And then I just came back from a 3-country trip in Africa.
Oh, okay.
And so I am African myself, as I said, I'm Burundian, but that was my first time ever in Africa. And then I went to Rwanda, Burundi, and Kenya. In Rwanda, I went to Kigali. In Burundi, I was in Bujumbura, the capital. And then in Kenya, I was in Nairobi, which is the capital, and then Mombasa, a beach town.
What is the differences you notice between all those countries?
Oh, damn, that's a great question, brother. So I'll give you the pros of each one. So Rwanda has Kigali, which I said is probably one of my favorite cities. That out of all of them, that's the only city that I would live in. Okay. That I visited in Africa. Like, it's the cleanest city you've ever seen in your life. 500 cash on you, nothing's gonna happen. And then also, it's so scenic. Like, it's usually cities are built on plains. They're built on valleys, right? Yep. And then they're surrounded by hills. But this is built on a hill, like on continuous hills. So wherever you're at, either looking down or looking up, you have an amazing view. And then also the development, just, you know, like African-wise, like it's so inspirational. If you guys have heard about like the Rwandan genocide and stuff in the mid-90s, to where they're at now, you just look there and it just gives you hope for other countries in the world. You know what I mean? How quickly it's developed, you know? They essentially have a dictator, and that's how it happened.
I was wondering if it was a dictatorship, because places like Dubai
essentially
are very similar, where things are very, very clean, and you can leave your phone in your wallet.
Well, the difference between Dubai and all the oil states and the Middle East and stuff, and sure, they've developed, but it's a cheat code. They just found oil, you know? But, you know, Rwanda got it out the gutter. Like, they're a landlocked country with not that many resources. And then in 25, 30 years, look what happened. So that's what's going for Rwanda. Burundi now. Burundi has the warmest people I've ever met. Like, you meet them out, and like they're the chillest people like you'll ever meet. And then the nightlife is crazy. Like, I was at a club one night. Every girl had their own bottle. It was like I was I was like in like, I don't know. It was like opposite day.
Wow.
You know, I'm on my American shit. Like I'm going up to them like, you want a drink? They're like, do you want a drink? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? So like, yeah,
Do you
everybody.
find that the women there are different than the Toronto women?
Oh, well, obviously, you know what I mean. I'm not
what
gonna
way?
say
'Cause
anything
I
bad
don't-
about Toronto.
No.
women. You know, they got their pros, but yeah, they're just obviously more approachable and stuff, very chill. But that's not just Toronto. It's just like it's North American. You know what I mean? Western. It's that's the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of like passport bros and shit. But I'm not on that.
No?
I ain't giving nobody a green card over there.
But you know why they support that, right? Why a lot of men are going to other
Yeah,
countries.
it's like life on rookie mode. I get it. So that's what it had going for it. Just the warmest people. Now Kenya, I was on two sides. I was in the capital. I was in Nairobi and Mombasa. In Nairobi, that place, I've never seen infrastructure in regards to like clubs and bars like that in the city ever. Like I was at there's one bar, it looked like Wonderland. Like,
What?
you know what I mean? Like, and it helps because it's always summer there, so it could be like half outside, half inside. But they had the best nightlife out of all the cities. You know what I mean? And then Mombasa was beautiful. You're on the Indian Ocean. So yeah, if I had something to say good about every city, there you go. Every part of it. No.
What's your favorite part about living in Toronto?
My favorite part about living in Toronto is the walkability.
Walkability. What do
The
you
walkability, the bikeability, like the transits, whatever. But the walk, like just the fact that, and this is downtown now, like, like not over here. But you could really live. I like places that don't depend on car culture.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I still like North America. So it's a very rare combo to get both of those things. Like to have a North American city that's walkable and bikeable. It's very rare. It's maybe Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. That's it in Canada. You know what I mean? And then in America, it's very rare. So I love that combo. And people, especially if they live downtown, they could attest to that. And that's how you build like the senses of community, spontaneity. You could just walk out and anything could happen. Then also the diversity too.
So you mentioned walking in Toronto, and you
Yeah.
posted a recent video where you're walking through Toronto and you noticed many dispensaries
Oh yeah,
that they put up. So what is your opinion? I personally think that it's overkill right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I noticed when you walk downtown, almost every street corner you have some like dispensaries. So I thought it was really funny and relatable that you made a video like that. You know?
I mean, we all notice it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's kind of shitty. All these restaurants we love are closing down, but then, you know what I mean? There's like a 1,000th weed shop that opens. Whatever you think about the free market, like some of these are going to end up closing down anyway. I think they're just a little too antsy. So I think it's a temporary thing. I think it's going to solve itself.
Yeah, and there's no supply and demand. You can get it anywhere,
Exactly.
anytime. So, you know, back in the day, guys had to have a guy. Now you can
Yeah.
go on every street corner and you can get what you need. So I thought that's really funny, and I feel as though it's become part of the Toronto culture now. So a lot more people smoke now more than ever.
You think so? You think it's more now that it's legal than before?
I personally think so. What do you think?
So I'm an idiot. I stopped smoking and then it became legal later. So
Timing.
I'm not really in tune with like what the smokers are saying, but you might be right. I don't know. You know, but we were a smoking ass city even before. What is your definition of success? Happiness. That's it. And that's
What does happiness mean to you? Where do you need to be in your life for you to say, you know what, I'm happy?
it's kind of a moving target. I don't know. I'd say like I don't know, just like. Well, I think life's about balancing. I mean, short-term happiness and long-term happiness at the same time, and that's the struggle of life. Because if all anybody cared about was being happy in the moment, then everybody would just do heroin. Yeah. But what you got to do is you got to balance short-term and long-term happiness. So when you're working hard or whatever, you're building to be happy later.
Yeah.
But you got to learn how to enjoy the moment too, or else you're literally never going to be happy. You're working towards something that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's like just having that right balance, that's success to me.
All right, go ahead with the next question.
Next question, y'all. All right. How long have you been growing your hair? Godly, that's been a minute, yo. So, I started dreading as soon as I graduated high school. 2012. Damn, I'm old. 2012. So, I've been dreading since there. So, I've been dreading for like 10 and a half years. And then before that, I even had a fro. So, the last time I really had like a clean, just like baldy type, probably 2008, bro.
2008.
Yeah.
So if you had to count how many years your hair is, how many years would you say, how old is your hair?
Shit, the oldest hair on my scalp is the 14 years.
14 years. Wow, wow. I've been growing my hair for 8 years. Yours, I know the vibes, but yours is longer than mine, I think. Because yours is 2-strand right now, so definitely much longer.
Like 3 or 4.
Oh, so it's 4 strands together in one. Oh, wow.
Because I have very tiny dreads.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's how you keep it a little shorter and manageable.
For sure.
That's a tip. You don't have to trim your dreads.
I do want to ask, so one of the things that I experience as somebody who has locks is that some environments, people have certain perceptions of you. So I want to know for the guys out there who have locks and they feel like, in corporate environments, work environments, that their hair is not appropriate, what would you say to those guys? And what's your experience been like having locks? Do people come to you and ask you if it's braids? Because people ask me that all the time. It's the most annoying
What was the color of this kid? What was the color of that person's skin last night?
White.
There.
So it's ignorance is bliss, Yeah.
So you're African.
Yes, I'm from Ghana.
From Ghana, okay. So how does your parents feel about it when you first started dreading?
Great question. My mother had a really hard time with it. Even right now, when my father shows pictures of me to his family in Ghana, they're like, does your son do drugs? Is he a gangster? Or why has he got locks? So, but my parents are okay with it now because I've had it for so long, and all my brothers started locking their hair after I locked my hair. So, at one point we were a family of dreadheads. But
so back in Ghana, like back home, and I'm trying to go. I might go in December. Is it common for the locals to dread their hair?
It is not common. The only ones who do dread their hair are the ones who are on the streets doing the things that are not appropriate. So if I were to go to Ghana right now and then just walking the street perception only, people would think I'm a gangster. They would think I'm going to rob them. They would think that I am a rapper. They would have all these negative things to say about me just because of my hair until I start talking and they're like, oh my God.
That's proper felony. That's interesting because in Burundi now, it wasn't the same years ago, but there's regular like Burundian and Rwandese people. I'm Rwandese as well. That they're just walking around with dreads. But so just to answer your question, when I started dreading my hair, I was about to go into the job market. And my parents was like, yo, come on, man, you gotta cut that shit off, bro. You want to get you a nice. And it kind of got it into my head. So I was just like, I just did a challenge to both of them. I'm like, yo, if I get a job, I keep my hair. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And I did right away. I mean, I had a good degree. I got my like. People are pretty racist, yes, but in my experience, at least, and this might be a hot take, it's not as bad as you think it is. You could dread your hair, you could have braids and whatever, and especially if your job is not client facing. You're fine.
Yeah.
They just want somebody to do the job.
To do the job.
Now, if I pivoted into like a sales job where I had to like sell to like grumpy old white people, then you probably would have seen me with a Caesar right now.
Fair enough.
You feel me? So it's a little different, but like compared now to 10 years ago, like damn near everybody got dreads. Yep. It's like if you got waves, you're weird.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's
not weird.
That's a lot more people got nowadays.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so hey,
some advice I would tell young men out there is just keep your hair clean, keep it fresh.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys and sometimes people who have locks, they don't keep it fresh. They have the free form locks, so it looks a little bit dirty. So a lot of people may have that perception.
That's true. If you're gonna free form, I don't know. I mean, listen, you might
like J. Cole.
You mean if you're that down for the Rasta cause, cool. You might have to take a 10K pay cut. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you might have to be a fashion dread. That's what they call them, right?
Yeah.
You might have to be a fashion dread, like you and I. I mean, that might have to be the compromise you need.
For sure.
How would you describe the nightlife in Toronto? Oh, that's a great question. Damn.
You've been doing a lot of hosting for the nightlife, so I'm curious.
Yeah. So I host because like I party anyway, like so it's like a nice way to monetize what I do because I don't like promoting random brands and shit. I don't like holding myself out for brands, but something that I like doing anyway and that people are hitting me up anyway, that's what I like to use my image for. So hosting is cool. So to answer the question, how do I feel about nightlife in Toronto? I think it's amazing if you know the right people. That's kind of shitty though. It should be like a stranger should be able to walk in Toronto and go to the most poppin' street, which is unfortunately King Street, and go there and have a great time. But it's not really the case, you know? And so, but there's a lot of DJs and promoters and club owners that are breaking that stigma of you have to go to a club and buy a bottle to have fun. Or like you have to stick on the wall and just look grungy. Like there's a lot of fun places.
Common in Toronto.
Yeah. But, you know, I just recommend you find any type of music you like, find a DJ, or like any party that you enjoy. Hit up the DJ, follow him, follow his parties, and then like your world will open. Don't just stick to like the common places to go on King Street or whatever. And then, yeah, you'll have a great time. Like nightlife in Toronto is awesome, but it's too secretive.
You think so?
Yeah, it's too under wraps.
You would think some clubs are super popular.
They are, but because the thing is, the club doesn't matter really.
Okay.
The event matters.
And what about the people that go to the club? Do they matter? Like,
Obviously, yes.
culture,
That's why the event
demographics,
matters.
I would say.
I mean, that's why the promoter or the DJ, that's what matters. So it's hard to find, even me, it's hard to find a consistent club where you have a good time. You know, shout out to the black-owned ones. There's the play that I think moved to Medusa now. That's, you know, you have a decent time there every time, and it's black-owned. But downtown, there's not that many black-owned places, you know?
True.
So, yeah, nightlife in Toronto, in like a sentence, it's good, but it's too under wraps. And, you know, we should work on it being good everywhere.
For sure.
Have your life changed since becoming famous?
So before you answer this question, let me preface this. So you started off, when I started following you, you had maybe about 10K followers.
Yeah.
Now you're at 30K.
Right.
So a lot more people know you now. You're pretty popular in the city of Toronto. So what's it been like for you, you know, building your own following on Instagram? Now when you walk the streets, you know, people know you. I recognize you as soon as I saw you on New Year's. I'm like, yo, that's the guy on Mucho TV. You know, he's hilarious. I have to go say what up to this guy because, you know, your content is fire. So what's that journey been like for you?
So I won't say famous, but I'll take the compliment. But it's, you know, like
Toronto famous.
Yeah, for sure. Like being known in the city, to me, it's amazing because some people are like socially anxious and stuff, and they don't like being, walked up to or whatever. But I embrace it. I every time somebody says they fuck with my content, or sorry, they mess with my content, I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you see me, say what's up. And how has my life changed? Like, honestly, I think it's changed in the most material change that it's had on me is how easy it is to network. You know, I think that's the coolest part about getting a following, like the amount of doors that it opens. You know, like people that are just one message away that before I started this, there's no way that I could have hit them up, you know? So
Yep.
To me, yeah, just the people that I've met, that's the best change.
And what advice would you give young content creators like myself looking to build that following? What were some of the steps that you took? How did you end up growing that following? And what was it like to see those numbers on Instagram like increase? Yeah.
Consistency, like do it as often as you can, and then kind of tied in with that, don't be afraid to look like an idiot. Like, you know, I look back at some of my old videos and I've archived some of them. I'm like, what was I even doing? But like, I'm really not afraid to put myself out there. So it's people that I meet now. They're like, bro, I thought you were corny back in the day. I'm like, hey man, I had to try whatever sticked at the wall. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't care. Like, I would just post whatever I thought was funny in the moment, and then I found what sticked, and then I just pursued that. So, you know, this is a numbers game, and the more that you put shit out, the more that you find what shit resonates, and the more that you could follow in that path. And don't put yourself in a box. So it's a fine line, right? You're gonna find something that people know you from, and then you're gonna want to keep doing that. So that's what I did with the Welcome to videos. But then I'm like, all right, I want to walk on the street and people stop me for another reason. So then I started interviewing like universities and stuff. And then that was like another thing, like, just, you know, it's cool to like not be pigeonholed, I'd say.
Those videos are actually super hilarious, by the way.
Thank you.
Because even the basic mathematic ones, if people don't get those, kills me every time. Like, there's no way that's a thing.
Yes, thank you. And then, yeah, yo, just do what you like, yo. Don't do purely what the numbers say. And again, it's a tight balance because you still want an audience, but people are gonna notice if you actually like what you're making.
For sure. All right, give us your top 5 Toronto slang words. Go.
Okay. damn, can I get crude or no? We gotta be like,
No,
we gotta.
let's be
PG.
yourself. You
Okay,
know,
be myself.
yeah, be
Okay.
yourself. It's okay.
Yo.
Let's hear it because other Torontonians they know these words. So
Yo, I love like Wazzles is hilarious. Wazzles is the funniest.
for those who don't know what that means, what is a wazzles?
Wazzles is goes ahead his brain, but like it's and to me that's the funniest one. Like only us could come up with that. You feel me? That's amazing. And then I gotta go with the classic Still is just gonna live forever.
That one has been going on for a really long time in Toronto.
Yeah,
Even when I was a kid, people said still.
Yeah, because if you notice, a lot of the slang that we spoke like as kids, the kids aren't saying that anymore.
Yeah. They're using words like nice it.
Yeah, you mean, but you know, we were using that too. But like I'm talking about, like there's some old like remember back in the day when we used to get drunk and high, we'd say we're crunk.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that anymore.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like I think before it was bill up, right? And then now it's ball up.
Yeah.
There's some things that don't last, but still is gonna be forever.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then probably I lie.
A lie.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah, but Wallace is hilarious. I'm sorry.
All right, Mucho, before we wrap up, tell us your story. You know, how did you get here today? How did you become Mucho TV? What's the journey been like for you? Give us a quick rundown on your life story.
For sure. So I'll start with the fact that, you know, I touched on it a little bit, but there's a lot of, there's civil wars and genocides that were happening in Burundi and Rwanda in the mid-90s. And so before it got too bad, my mom and dad saw the writing on the wall. And right after they got married, they left the country, refugee status, straight to Buffalo. My mom was pregnant. They couldn't get refugee status in America, so I was almost American. But, you know, so they went to Canada instead.
And you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest. And my mom told this to me a couple weeks ago, and that tripped me out. She's like, you're probably like the oldest Burundian that's born in Canada, right? Ontario at least. Because that refugee exodus, like they saw it ahead of it.
Yeah.
So they left. And so even when I talk to Burundians that I know my age, they're all fobs, for lack of a better word. They're all like, you know what I mean? Like they have a different experience than me.
Yeah.
I'm a Canadianized dude. I was born and raised here. So that's why a lot of people, they haven't met Burundians. So I was born in Hamilton thanks to that. Lived there a couple years, moved out to Toronto. Kind of where I'm living now, actually. I was in Parkdale for a couple years. Full circle, I live close to there now too. I was really raised in Mississauga. My parents put me in a French school, and that's why I could do those French raps you see, like "Welcome to Montreal, bienvenue à Montréal." Like I could do that. Because of that, I was in French school my whole life. And when I say French school, I don't mean like those fake French immersion schools. I'm talking about
like everything all day French.
The only English class was English. You feel me?
Gotcha.
I mean, so I did that, and then I went to, and that school, like, and we're talking off the mic here. A lot of people would think a French school is like a lot of white people. No, like that was Africa Central. We had Cafrica in there. You know what I mean? Cafrica, like cafeteria full of Africans. That's we had that. Shout out, say for me. And so I went to university in Guelph, and then that's where I really like started like seeing a lot of like white culture I never seen in my life. Like I met Jewish people for the first time. Like I'm like, yeah, these guys are cool. You feel me? And like, that's where a lot of like my comedy and being able to relate to different sides kind of built, because I just seen like every type of person.
Thank you guys so much for taking the opportunity to watch this episode. It was a really great one. Please help me out by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here and for the R Asylum podcast. And thank you so much, Mucho, for being here. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bruh.